Thanks everybody for taking a quick look at this video. I'm really excited to announce a new product for Acumatica that we have partnered with our friends over at AccuPower on. The product is called AR Factoring. And for those of you that aren't familiar with that term, we're going to describe that in a little bit more. I can tell you I'm especially excited about this package because over the last 10 years of my experience selling and implementing Acumatica, we've actually lost a number of net new deals across many partners because we don't have a factoring solution. Factoring is really common in furniture and apparel. People that distribute apparel, like buy containers and manufacture it abroad and then sell it to retailers here in the United States, for an example. Or I've seen this in furniture. There are other use cases for having just third-party payments, people that aren't the actual person that are receiving the goods that are paying it, someone that's factoring that AR off. So we'll describe that in a little bit more detail in just a moment, and we'll even give you a glimpse of the software. But first, I want to make sure I introduce Yuri, not that he needs an introduction. Most people in the Acumatica ecosystem know Yuri. Yuri, why don't you just tell us a little bit about AccuPower and what you guys do?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for introduction. Yeah. So I can say a lot of people know about AccuPower, but sometimes we have situations when those who know us forgotten about new areas which we assist for. So to put simply, we help other companies similar to yours, for example, with managing of intellectual property. If somebody has business idea which they want to add to Acumatica, but they are not sure is it feasible and how to put it on Acumatica marketplace, we definitely can help on that. We also have quite extensive experience on new Acumatica modules and products. Of course, any kind of report and integration with Acumatica we can build as well. And whatever kind of customization is necessary, that is something that we always happy to help with, no matter of complexity. But I would say if request is overly simple, then probably it's not a good idea to ask for us, because we may have a lot of questions which you would not necessarily want to hear.
Yuri, just out of curiosity, how many developers do you guys have these days?
Not so huge number. I would say around 20. We can increase that number or decrease, but overall we have 20 developers.
Wow. Well, that probably doesn't seem like a big number to you, but to me, it seems like a pretty big number. That's a lot of folks cutting a lot of code in Acumatica. So let me just give a quick background on my company as well. I started a company called Pre-Sales Leader about 3.5 years ago, and we help VARs and resellers and ISVs of Acumatica do demos. So it's also one of the reasons why I identified AR factoring as a package that really needed to be deployed. Like someone had to do this inside of Acumatica, because it really is a requirement that if you can't check that box on an RFP, or you can't show how you can factor off an invoice, you're going to lose a net new opportunity. So as my team is collecting all of this information, we have a consulting arm, business consulting leader. We help people with product marketing and go-to-market strategy. We don't do development. So what we really needed is to partner with somebody that focuses on development. And really excited that we were able to do this project and build this product with the team over at AccuPower and Yuri. It was a fantastic experience for us, speccing this out, really working on the initial MVP package of AR factoring. So with that, let's talk a little bit more about just what AR factoring is, because a lot of people aren't familiar with that term. Let's say, and I'll just use an example, let's say that I'm an apparel distributor, and I am in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's where I am. Got a massive warehouse here. We ship in containers from abroad of T-shirts, sweatshirts, pants, whatever type of style that we focus on. And then we have our own customers and we distribute to them here. So we're like that middleman distributor. Orders come, they're sizable, typically people factoring invoices are not factoring an invoice that's $10, right? It's like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. These are larger B2B orders that as they ship and are invoiced, what factoring means is I am not invoicing my end customer, right? So if my end customer is um, Nate's retail store for sweatshirts in Portland, Maine, he may place a $15,000 order with me. There we go, Nate. And um, he knows in advance, I'm going to take advantage of a factoring company because I'm not going to be able to sell these all at once. So I need to use a debt service, also known as a factoring company, to take care of this receivable on my behalf. And an accounting system doesn't like that, right? Because in an accounting system, you have a sales order to Nate's apparel company, you have a shipment, we're shipping the product to Nate's company, and then we have an invoice to Nate's company. But in a factoring world, Nate has an agreement with someone else. Let's just call them ABC Factoring. And what would happen is I need to know that at the point of sales order. I need to potentially get an approval from the ABC Factoring Company before I can process that order, build the product sometimes, process a shipment. And then when I ultimately invoice, I'm not invoicing Nate's Apparel Company. I'm invoicing the ABC factoring entity who at some point down the road, Nate's gonna need to pay them with some interest. So again, this is a very common use case. And without some sort of package in Acumatica, uh, you're basically manually putting fields and attributes and notes. You're manually trying to calculate finance charges potentially. You're manually credit memoing or reversing invoices and then generating additional invoices. It could be a lot of work to manage. So similar to other embedded packages inside of Acumatica, we wanted to be able to provide a very simple, easy to use package that would handle these factoring use cases. So I'm going to share my screen. I'll just give you a quick tour of this package. So I have Acumatica up here, and I've got this AR Factoring Details tab. Those of you familiar with Acumatica know that AR Factoring Details tab is not typically there, like unless you added it as a UDF somehow and you do factoring today. That's part of the package that we've built here with AccuPower. And if you go to the AR Factoring Details, this is where you can actually identify natively now, hey, this is a sales order to Alta Ace. And those of you familiar with the Acumatica demo data set know where Alta Ace is coming from. We could say we're actually going to factor this off to ABC Holdings. In our example here in the demo data, that's what we're doing. We're actually just identifying at the point of sales order that we have this factoring use case, because before we even ship or invoice, Alta Ace has told us, hey, I'm going to factor this off. Now, depending on, and I'm not going to get into the setup areas in the customer files and where we have all of the logic to be able to store credit approvals. Oftentimes in factoring, you have to get a credit approval, and there's an amount and there's an expiration date. So the module that AccuPower built here actually can account for all of that. Then you've got a place to be able to split the advanced fees, any factoring fees, remittance fees. This just handles the processing of, potentially you could be invoicing Nate's company a little bit and the factoring company a little bit. So all of that is configured on the customer record. The factor entity is actually another customer record. And then what happens as you ship and then invoice is you're going to wind up generating a credit memo off of that initial invoice. We made the decision with AccuPower that we didn't want to try to interrupt the normal logic of Acumatica shipments posting to invoices. And instead, we basically automated this process so that when you actually ship, you can factor this off And these can be automated and set to like a business event or a processing schedule to happen automatically. Or some people still just want to be able to review the invoices and then factor them off one by one. The last thing I'll mention is you don't always know something's factored at the point of sales order. So we also just wanted to give ultimate flexibility for people that maybe don't even use sales orders. They just have an invoice in the accounts receivable module, and you could just ad hoc. We would call that an ad hoc factor, where you're factoring off an invoice. So you're basically writing off or reversing that invoice, and then you're going to transfer that AR to another customer or potentially even other customers. So what you're seeing here are a credit memo and an invoice for that. And if I open up my new invoice, the new invoice is actually for the factoring company. And again, just like on the sales order, you'll actually see the factoring links, all the factoring details and breakdown. So at some point, we'll probably build like an inquiry and a dashboard, like a standard factoring dashboard. Right now, this is our first version of this package. I'm excited because I think there's a lot of Acumatica customers that already do this but struggle with it manually. And then the other part of what we're excited about is kind of where we started this session today. We don't want to lose deals anymore because factoring is not a native feature in Acumatica. This is a marketplace app that AccuPower has pending certification, and we're committed to and excited about for that reason. Yuri, did you have anything else that you wanted to share for today?
Yes, I just want to add that we have also some kind of validation and like AR factoring, for example, percentage split. So all in all, totals will be equal to 100%. And we have possibility to have situation when two companies may provide AR factoring. So for example, if you want to have more than one AR factoring supplier, our customization tracks that. So that module is pretty flexible, and in case if you have very intricate request, you are more than welcome to ask.
Yep, absolutely. This is a product that we'll be reviewing any requests on and put that on a roadmap based on customer demand. Again, it exists in its form today. And we've already sold our first AR factoring deal, and we're looking forward to implementing that and having them as a reference on this package as soon as possible. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to, I know this video is going to be socialized on LinkedIn. You could reach out to either me or Yuri on LinkedIn. You could also just reach out to info@presalesleader.com if you have other questions. We're going to be posting a blog post and actually that click-through demo that you could have access to. We built a click-through demo that is an interactive demo experience so that you as a VAR could very easily just kind of click through that and show that on a deal. And that way we don't need to necessarily jump in unless there's other questions. You're just doing your normal Acumatica demo, and then you kind of go over into this click-through experience that we made in our demo tool. So with that, please reach out if you have any questions. And again, we're excited with this product that we partnered with AccuPower on. It's going to be a great experience and look forward to more in the future.